reception suite for a moment, so we'll start here first. So the Kauffman Center is a nonprofit, or we're a nonprofit organization, a 501c3, and as part of that we do different activities for fundraising. And one of these is the children's handprint wall. So you can see here, you can sponsor a child. We have lots of grandkids, you know, children, things like that. The Chiefs have sponsored Boys Club and Girls Club children. It's $1,000 a handprint, and we do this a couple times a year where you can have a handprint put on the wall. And if you look around, there's some little tiny ones here from like 11 days old and 4 months, some little tiny ones. Here's the 11-day one. There's a couple down there. And originally, these were all on the walls as you come up from downstairs. We moved it. These have all been digitized, so when you do the handprint, they don't actually do it on the wall. You do it on something, it's digitized, so if it's ever damaged or anything, it's saved and then can be reproduced wherever. So we brought it in here, and now it's growing. So if anyone has someone that they'd like to have on a handprint wall, here's the spot. Well, this one's 2 months, but yeah, there's all types of cute little handprints here. Okay.
How about you?
Sure. And first of all, I'm Victoria Calhoun, and I'm your tour guide today, and I'm hoping to give you some information that you can take and impress your friends with. The next time you come to a performance, you can say, oh, here's this about the window, or here's this. So hopefully it will enhance your enjoyment the next time you come. I've had friends come to performances after a tour and they're like, oh yeah, I knew about this and I knew about that. So it was fun, and it hopefully makes your experience more memorable. So. Flexible. So, here you go. This is good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Just have a seat anywhere. We'll only be in here a few minutes.
Okay.
Let me push this back. I believe there was an event last night, so we're still kind of recovering from that.
So Victoria, you've been a volunteer tour guide for over a decade now?
Over a decade, I know. I don't look it, do I?
Almost as old as the building.
That's right. Almost as old as the building. We're good, thank you. This is about everybody. Can you all see? This will just be a short video.
I think I can slide in here. I think.
Okay, so I've been here since the beginning. Told you a little bit about me. The Kauffman Center was groundbreaking, was in October of 2006, and actual construction began in the spring of 2007. It took almost 5 years to complete. We were finished in then September 2011, and okay, just a second. And that was opening day. So I've got 2 videos to show you. The first one, it features Moshe Softy, and he talks a little bit about the building and kind of his ideas and his thinking behind the design. And the second one is J.E. Dunn, who was the general contractor. What they did, it wasn't at the very beginning, but they set up a camera on a telephone pole down here and took a picture every day of the progress. So the second video is going to be a time-lapse video of this being built. So when we see that, then we'll talk about a few of those things upstairs, and you'll kind of understand it a little bit more. Okay, this is the time-lapse video here. Just stop at this. So you can see it already started by the time someone got the idea to take the video here. So I'll just let it play on here. So just real quick. This is Muriel Kauffman Theatre, and here is Helzberg Hall on the right. One thing, you can see these metal trusses here, that framework. We'll talk about that a little bit more upstairs. That's providing the support for the roof. See in the front, they're starting the construction of the parking garage on the south side here. Things about that. Couple things. So as we were building this, they started really in 2007. What happened in 2008 was the financial meltdown, or the Great Recession. So during that time, a lot of construction workers were put out of work. There wasn't a lot going on. So that really helped us. We were able to keep over 1,000 people working, construction going on this. And it also helped because it reduced demand, so we were able to get some artisan folks that maybe would have been a little pricey, that kept them working on this. So it did provide jobs and did a lot of good then. Also, another thing, the Kauffman Center is totally funded with private donations. So at that time, $326 million was raised from individuals, corporations, regional businesses here to build this, and including Julia Irene Kauffman. The Another 40 million has been raised, and that's our operating fund. And so we keep that because there's continuous maintenance on this, the cleaning, the glass, you know, you can imagine that. The only private money that was used was $47 million, and that's for the Arts District garage on the south side. And that garage is not just for us, it is a public garage. It's open all the time. We have to pay to use it just like everybody else. So that was really the only money public money that was used for this. And back in 2011, I mean, we were really at the front end of revitalizing kind of the Crossroads District and a lot of this growth here. Okay, the next one is just a cute, a quick little video, a little introduction here.
There's really something here for all the senses, but when you walk in, it's a feast to the eyes.
The prettiest thing is the red carpet because it looks like a big strawberry.
I think I prefer the daytime.
Ooh, sunset is definitely best.
It looks like something I've never seen before.
It comes to life with color at night, and it's so white and silver in the daytime.
It's just a wonderful place to kind of escape.
When it comes to cultural institutions, these are some of the living rooms of the community, the museums, the performing arts centers, the libraries. They are where we now go to be part of community. It's right by downtown, overlooking the Crown Center. It's a connector. It'll help bridge the sort of gap between the two. It's visible from everywhere. Well, I certainly thought in my early sketches of the two chambers as two instruments contained by one glass stand. And as that evolved, and we thought about how should the building express itself from the downtown, from the north, we evolved this geometry of these fingers. They have a kind of a musical rhythm because they're all the same radius, but they kind of rotate slowly and create quite a rich geometry. And they're made of metal and precast concrete, so you get a lot of reflections of light that change. And then on the opposite side, the cables are holding back the whole tent, and you just like want to go and play them. I mean, they just feel like a giant harp. What I wanted also people to feel is how the rooms are different. The Proscenium Theater as a much more festive room. It's the red room, the upholstery's red, the balustrades glow. They kind of are a recall to the gilded balustrades of the past.
Naturally, the blue in the Helzberg Hall reminds me of my mother. However, hearing that we have the most fly space, we're equal to Lincoln Center, and we have theater as good as anyone in the United States, that thrills me because she loved the back of stage.
The symphony, which is orchestra, which is recitals, which is a wonderful organ, is wood. It feels like you're kind of crawled into a cello. And it's a room that is containing, it's almost boat-like. A lot of people have reflected that it's like being in the hull of a ship. And then the public spaces where everybody meets, where in intermission time, those who come into Don Giovanni meet somebody who's come to Elton John. All that meets in a lobby that's white. Everything is white. The floor is white, the walls are white, the structure is white, the city glows. It's just a room that's about the city. It's probably as complex a building type that there is. And it's also the one so easy to fail with. All you need is one failure. Perfect everything, acoustics doesn't work, or perfect everything else, sightlines don't work, and you failed. So you've got to hit 100% on all the different points that make this work. Somebody said last night we hit the jackpot. That sounded good to me.
Kansas City has so much to offer in arts and music and dance, and this is such a wonderful venue to showcase all that talent.
When I first came in, like all of the windows everywhere, just so like you can see Kansas City everywhere. And I think to people who've never been to Kansas City before, it's like, hey, look at our city, you know?
Okay. Any questions so far?
The architect was a Canadian architect?
Well, he's Israeli, Jewish, but he lived in Canada. He's been, Moshe Safdie is a famous architect, which I didn't know beforehand, but he's taught at Harvard Business School. He is, I think he got famous in Canada with some of his designs there. He did Crystal Bridges down in Arkansas, if you've been down there, but he's world renowned, so all over. Okay, and of course I'm blanking now on all the things, but okay. We ready to go?
That way.
Okay. This is, are we in a time constraint or anything? Do you have lunch plans somewhere? Okay. The tour normally takes an hour, or well, including that part, but we got started a few minutes late, so I just want to make sure you're not in a hurry. And this reception room here, this is available for rent. We use this before and after different events and things. We have the conference of mayors, U.S. mayors that are coming here. We have all types of corporate events, weddings, as they said. No, we do have a restaurant that is open sometimes before. Yeah. Oh, come on out and we'll head that way. Sewer gas or something.
This room is the one used for the restaurant?
No, I'll show you the restaurant is over this way. Okay. All right. Let's follow this way. We're going to head to the plaza lobby, which is right where, kind of where you all came in. Designed for comfort and convenience. First of all, we're sitting on 14 acres. The center itself is on 10 acres. The parking garage out front is on 4 acres. It's designed for comfort and convenience. As we said, you can pull in here, walk right in, straight in, and get your tickets right there. If you're here for a performance, you can park underneath. There are 4 levels. It holds 1,000 cars there. One interesting thing, Kansas City has the 1% for art. So every building that goes on, you have to spend 1% of your budget on artwork. So when Kansas City built the parking garage, when you hop out, you may have heard music. If any of you parked in there, there is what do you call it, motion sensors there. So when you get out of the car and it feels the motion, the music starts. And in this kind of box here, you can't really see the glass area here. There are 7 light towers there, and the lights start going off in a rhythm. And that's the artwork called terpsichore, which means delight in dancing. And it's after a Greek goddess named Terpsichore. So that was designed as the 1% for art. So that's to put you in the mood for art and music when you first come in from the parking garage. There are tunnels underneath. You come through, and you would come up through here, the steps and the escalator right there to enter there. Also on the parking garage, you notice the top is all green. We use green technology here throughout the building. So the grass is actually planted in a light vermiculite type material, so when it rains, the water comes through, it is filtered and collected in cisterns, so then we reuse it then to water the ground. So that's part of the plan too. So you come in here, as you're driving under the rods out there, as Moshe Safdie said, makes you think maybe of a stringed instrument. So that's putting you in the mood also for music and dance. So, and also designed for the comfort and convenience is restrooms. We have 196 restrooms in the whole building, and 2/3 are for women. So the women get more, so we can get in and out, and they are on every level, and we'll go up. You won't see the restrooms, but they're on every level, so you can come out, you can use the restroom. There's also concession stands, beverage stands on every level, so it's very convenient. You can come in and out very quickly. So as you look at the building, there's 3 main components that make up the structure. First is the let's see, I'll start. First is the glass, which we'll talk about upstairs more. Second is the precast concrete, and that makes up most of the vertical spaces. The concrete has been dyed to match the native limestone here in Kansas City. So it's dyed to match like Municipal Auditorium, City Hall, and all that, so it's designed to blend in with Kansas City. The third is the bead blasted stainless steel roof on the north side. Now if you're all from here, you may know this, but that was a controversy a little bit at the beginning. It is bead blasted because, to reduce the glare. So they were worried about the glare on the traffic, getting in the driver's eyes at coming up 35, and also because of the airport there. So they didn't want any glare for the pilots, so it was bead blasted, but the bead blast gives it a beautiful shimmer, which adds to the beauty there.
And it's stainless steel.
It's stainless steel, yeah, bead blasted stainless steel. So as we look over here, you were asking about the restaurant. You can kind of see over here a little bit. It says Founders Lounge. That's where our restaurant is. We have American fusion type cuisine here. I would check the website before you come, but if you're ever interested in coming for a performance and you don't want to have to rush, you can have your nice dinner there and then go straight upstairs. You don't have to wait in line. Also here on the wall, you see these the glass plaques right there. I said how we are a nonprofit and always adding to our operating costs or fund. These are the donors who have donated $10,000 to $99,000. So their names are there, and there's plenty of space if to go there. Yes, we'll take credit cards there. Okay. All right, let's go upstairs now to the Brandmeyer Hall. They're up there. You can either take this elevator or we'll take the stairs right here. So this only goes up one floor, so you can't. Okay. It's not close for you all. We're special. You can leave that open here. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Just come on up. And we'll meet up there at the top. I'll let you go ahead.
Eventually I'll run. Yeah. I'd love to see something.
Hello. Hi. Good. Here, I'll stand over there. I'll see it. Okay, this is Brandmeyer Great Hall. Ewing Kauffman at Marion Labs. So most of you know Ewing Kauffman. He brought the Royals here. He's been a great benefactor for Kansas City. His wife, Julia Irene Kauffman, was very involved in the arts, and this was a dream of hers to build a world-class performing arts center. So they started with that in the late 90s, you know, talking about it. Muriel Kauffman passed away before this actually was built, but their daughter, Julia Irene Kauffman, is the one that has headed this up and really made it happen. So William Brandmeyer worked with him. He started his own company after that, made his own fortune, and was a great benefactor for this building, hence Brandmeyer Great Hall here. So the entire Kauffman Center here is 285,000 square feet. So we are really only seeing a small part. There is a lot going on below and behind what we see here. This Brandmeyer Great Hall, this is 17,000 square feet right here. So I'll start with numbers first. We are 330 feet across here. It goes up 54 feet here, then up to 68 feet at the top. There's 1,396 panes of glass along here, and no two are exactly the same. Because of the curve of this wall, each pane of glass is slightly different. Most of them, though, they're about 6 by 6. They're attached with these clips here. The glass is a low iron glass. Iron in glass makes it turn green like a Coke bottle. Think of the old Coke bottles. Well, they use low iron glass because Moshe Safdie wanted people to be able to see out, and he also wanted people to be able to see in, because he wanted everyone outside to see what was going on in here and be excited about it and want to come to a performance. So this glass then, this low iron glass, has undergone a process called fritting. And fritting is when like little black dots are applied to the glass, and it helps filter out the UV rays and helps with heating and cooling here. Kind of like gradient sunglasses, if you remember those. So you look at the first 2 rows of glass, you don't see anything, it's pretty clear. You go up to the third one, and you can start seeing those little dots on it, perhaps. Well, those get more concentrated as it goes up, and even more so on the roof. So that helps with the heating and cooling and the glare in this building, although it can still get pretty bright in here. Julia Irene Kauffman later on added these, I believe, 13 sails here, these shades that she saw at an opera house in Canada. She liked them so much we added those a couple years later. And these metal silver weights there, those are the counterbalances, so we can open and close these shades up here. So Moshe Safdie calls this a 3-in-1 building. There's actually 3 components here. We have the outside part, which is the glass and bead blasted stainless steel, and it's like a tent. It is its own building. It goes down into its own foundation, 40 feet down into bedrock. So that's like a little tent, or a big tent, over the 2 performing halls here. So between that tent and the halls is a space called an acoustical joint. And that is just space between there, so it keeps like thunder, rain, any noise out, and then the hall inside is in its own capsule. So that helps with sound. So we have Helzberg Hall here, we have Muriel Kauffman there, this is in between, and no sound escapes from either one. So that way we can have 2 performances going on at the same time and you won't hear it. So unlike at some of those movie theaters where you can feel the movie next door, that doesn't happen here. And you don't hear rain or anything else outside. So the way the glass roof is supported is with the cables, like he discussed in the video. So you can see those squares up there where those rods, those cables are coming out. Those are attached to that steel truss that I was mentioning in the video. So that's the skeleton inside. These are attached. So these cables come down and then they attach. There are 27 masts along here. These masts, every other one actually functions as a drain. So when they collect the rain outside, when it's on the roof, every one of these is like a gutter type thing, and it comes down, and we use that also for watering the grounds. So these masts then are tensioned by the rods outside that go down. Each one is in a 4-foot block of concrete, and it also goes all the way down to bedrock, which is about 40 feet. So here's a little nugget. This land, does anyone know, was purchased from H. Ross Perot. Remember Perot, the presidential candidate? Well, the Kauffmans are from Texas, and they knew him. Well, this was a bunch of warehouses and you know, kind of run down here, and when they were looking for a location, this became available, and they made that deal. The only bad thing about it, it was really rocky and watery. They had to do a lot of pumping out to get this here, but there was a nugget there. So as you look out, another little interesting bit, and some of you may already know this, when they were interviewing for the architects, they had it down to 5. They were interviewing Moshe Safdie at Crown Center up there, what used to be the top of the Crown. And they're having dinner there, and he sketches on the napkin. And some of you might have seen the little sketches. It's sort of like the clamshells. He sketches it out and says, here's my plan, and it's going to look this way. Well, at the time, everything was, when they were talking about, it was going to face the skyline. And it was going to look at Kansas City, was the original plan. And they were like, oh no, we can't do that, that's not like that. And that's when he said, I want this to be a welcoming front porch for the arts and people to be able to see in. And anyway, that's who they chose. And as we develop more in Kansas City, you think it's a good thing, because now we've got the Lowe's Hotel, other things kind of blocking that view. And here, you know, until something happens, we have a wonderful view right now. So also, as far as the heating and cooling goes and the environmental concerns that they had, the flooring in here is made of a Portuguese limestone tile. But beneath it is a radiant heating and cooling system. So there's tubes filled with liquid under here, and it's designed to heat or cool just about 10-15 feet here. So it's only heating and cooling the area where people are, and not trying to heat this entire space here. It is augmented by a radiant heating and cooling system here. There is some forced air that comes up, but the main thing for here is for the people to keep us cool or warm. You might notice these glass shelves here. They're not for decoration or to put anything on. As the warm air rises and cold air falls, that causes drafts, and it also causes condensation on the glass. So what these do, they break up the air and kick it back out, so the air and the condensation doesn't build up on the glass here. So that is something else that they've done.
That was my question.
Oh,
What was the purpose?
Yeah, no, that's what that's for. So on this floor, and we'll come around so you can see more, we have 2 refreshment stations here. They're on, or 3, I'm sorry, and they're on giant balloon ball things that we can move everything around. Again, this area can be rented for weddings, corporate events. One year, I don't know if it was the Symphony, maybe the Symphony did a Wizard of Oz theme here, and they lit everything up in emerald green, so it looked like Emerald City here. You can do so many beautiful things with this building. Normally, you'll see the blue on the right here, and you can kind of see it right now. So Helzberg Hall is done in blue, we'll see on the inside, but the carpet on those hallways there, it reflects up, but at night it's a beautiful blue. This is red, typical of opera houses. We'll come this way now. We have a gift shop, and unfortunately it's not open during the day. We are open on Fridays to the public, and we'll have someone out here that can kind of talk about things a little bit. And I believe it's open then, but normally this is open right before performance and then through intermission there. We'll go on into Muriel Kauffman Theatre first, okay? Questions so far? Yes?
Can you run into the bats hitting the glasses?
To the what? Bats? I don't know. I haven't heard
That's
too
one
much
of the
about
major problems with these glasses.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe bats, birds.
Yeah, I know at home that happens. That's a good question, and no one has ever asked that in all these years. I'm going to find out.
What was the question? Birds.
The birds or the bats getting that there.
They drop dead, you know.
Yeah. I know we've had a bullet hole in one. We've had a couple that have had to be replaced over the years. And each one has a certain number that then we reorder another piece of glass to
manufacture the glasses?
Well, I think I don't know the specific. No, they come from China. But yeah, they tried not to, but that was the best. And these are double paned and triple paned bent on the top, and they're designed to withstand like an F1 tornado or F3 tornado, and they did testing for that in Miami, and they built a model of this, and they used Boeing jet engines for the air, the force, and they built it to withstand the weather here in Kansas. So.
Cleaning from outside?
Cleaning, yes, we have cleaning. So a couple times a year, they'll come in and clean the inside. We have cherry pickers that clean on the inside and the outside. But a couple years ago, the Star did an interesting article. There's a company that but it power washes the bee-blasted roof, and they get up there and rappel down, like mountain climber types, and they work their way down and clean that off. So yes. That's interesting. And along the front, I had mentioned the gutters, so there are also spikes, we can't see them from here, things to prevent glass buildup there, but when it does, or any water, it comes down, and along that front is like a huge trough, again, or a gutter there that catches all that, the water and ice, if it were to be, and keeps it from falling on anyone.
And all that goes down to the
See
system.
from outside? Pardon me?
All that goes down to the system.
Yeah.
Can we see through the glass from outside, or is
Yeah.
it not?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's go this way. So I mentioned downstairs about the donors for the $10,000 to $99,000. Well, here is the $100,000 plus wall. So we will make room for you. If you're from Kansas City, you will probably recognize some of the names on here. You can look at that, but a lot of the benefactors of Kansas City, yes. Yeah. My name is not up there yet.
Well, you don't usually get college professors. Right.
Yeah. I know college professors have a lot hanging on. Now when you come in, you might want to hold on to the hand railing because our eyes have to adjust a little bit here.
We have that thing here.
Oh yeah. Okay, you can hold on right here. We'll come down toward the front a little bit.
Estas son nuestras sillas.
¿Qué?
Nuestras sillas.
803 y 804.
That's fine.
Maybe sit in these first couple rows right here. And yes, you can take pictures. And look around, because after you sit, you're kind of looking at this fire curtain here, so get a good look. That's where you sit? Yeah. Those are good seats.
803 and 804.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Are you season ticket holders?
Yeah.
For which, the opera? Or opera? Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask you, there was a campaign to buy the seats and have them name tags. Our children bought the seats for us.
They did?
So where are they?
Oh, well, I don't know. Do you know where they are?
No, I don't know.
Oh, no. You can see though, here on here, and I'll talk about it.
Alphabetical.
No, it kind of has to do with when, and I don't know if it's how much. They might be more expensive down here than they are up there. Let me go shut this door just a minute. Oh, how exciting though.
Yes,
Shut this door.
You want to see them? I'll check
You
it.
need to see it.
Right, we should have brought it with you.
Okay, so this is Muriel Kauffman Theatre, and this is the home of the opera and the Kansas City Ballet. So we have two halls here, and here's one way to think about it. You have a baseball stadium and a football stadium, and they're designed for two different sports, and everything's built around how those perform. So that's how it is here. This hall is built for spoken word and clarity. So you can be standing here, you can stand on the stage and speak without amplification and be heard clearly all the way at the top at 130 feet away and be heard clearly because of the design here of the acoustics. And Yasu Toyota was the acoustician for the hall, for both halls. He's a world famous acoustician. He also did the Disney Theater in LA. He's done, worldwide acoustics. And then a Richard Pilbrow was the stage designer, and he's out of London and Connecticut. So they also work with Moshe Safdie to design everything. So Muriel Kauffman Theatre here seats 1,800 people. This theater is designed in a modified horseshoe way. So we have a proscenium theater, and if you're not a theater person, that's the flat stage with the curtain, the front and the back, so you have the front of the stage, the back, and then we have a modified horseshoe design around that. And there's 22 boxes here that surround the stage, okay? One of the first things you notice in here, the most exciting, are the front of the balustrades here. And they sparkle, and those are designed with cast acrylic resin, and behind that is mylar, crumpled mylar sheets. So think of those balloons, those silvery birthday balloons. That's the material that was hand crumpled. And Julia Irene Kauffman was here overseeing the crumpling because she wanted this to give the look of the old candlelight opera houses back in the day. And with that mylar sheeting is LED lighting behind there. So each of these have been hand crumpled to give us this look on the front of the balustrades. And part of it is also, for acoustics, they are curved outwards to help push the sound back in. They don't want the sound to get trapped up behind. So you'll notice on the walls here, first of all, Moshe Safdie worked with the Kansas City Art Institute to design these murals. So in the spring of 2010, a first class worked with him to design each one of the murals here. Each one is designed to work as its own piece of art, but then together they cause your eyes to flow then toward the stage. The summer class of the Kansas City Art Institute actually came in and did the painting. So that was done by local artists here. So you'll notice then the curves there. Those are called acoustical bumps. And that's behind the slats there. You can see the vertical bumps there. Those are covered in plaster, and they help reflect the sound back out and also absorb kind of the hard sounds there. The slats in front of that also do the same thing, reflecting the sound out. There are mesh curtains behind that can be raised and lowered to help adapt the sound if you need to adjust it for a certain performance there. The top of our ceiling is also covered in almost 3 inches of plaster, again designed to absorb basically the bad sound and reflect back the good sound here, and that's designed for quality. Everything here is state-of-the-art as far as the stage goes. So unfortunately, you're not looking at a pretty curtain today. This is the fire curtain. So they put this down, you know, during off time here to prevent anything, if there's a fire or smoke behind, it keeps it back. But the stage opening is 50 feet, but it actually is 100 feet wide. And it goes 50 feet back, so we have a 5,000 square foot stage, which is actually huge for a stage, especially for one with this small of an audience here. You can see at the top these sliders. The stage can slide in or out. If you want something a little more intimate, you can make the stage smaller there. Right now, we have our first 4 rows up. These can be lowered then for an orchestra pit. So if we have a performance that's got an orchestra pit, these first 4 rows can be lowered, and then they're rolled back underneath here behind the stage, and that's where the orchestra would be. So this can be customized on, you know, for whatever type of performance here. The stage also has a system of trap doors, so, you know, people can pop out of the floor, or the Wicked Witch can melt into the ground. And you can't see, but there are also what are called line sets. There's 74 line sets. And what a line set is where you can hang like a backdrop or any scenery. So they can do 74 layers of different things back behind the stage. And it goes up then 78 inches, or 78 feet tall. So this is a huge stage. It allows us to bring in large productions. One of the first ones we did was Nixon in China, and it actually had a replica of a Boeing 747, like just the front of it, but they were able to bring it in and set up. So we can handle any size performance that comes to town. So this side over here is Broadway. So unfortunately we can't see. I'm telling you things you can't see. There are 2 huge loading docks on that side. Everything again is designed for convenience. A truck can pull up with the scenery or instruments. Everything's on one level. There is actually a hallway that opens from there and goes the length of the center here. So they unload there, and it's big enough for like a small truck that can drive through there and take the instruments or whatever then to the other hall there. Behind us, there's rooms for over 250 performers, warm-up rooms, lounges, dressing rooms, wig rooms. We have, I think, 3 grand pianos, you know, everything that you could want back there. All very nice for the top talent that we have coming here. A few more little details. The seats that you're sitting in, they're around 20 to 22 inches wide. They are staggered to allow for good sight lines here. As you brought up, Part of our capital campaign is the seat naming campaign. So if you look on the armrest, you'll see names of different people that someone purchased. You've got one? Oh, awesome. Yeah, way up there. Okay, good. So a couple, and you...
I couldn't find out. I don't know. How do you know where it is?
You know, that's another good question. Okay, you guys have me on too now. I'm guessing from the website, but yeah, if I get time before you leave, I will find out. But I would go to the website to check that out. One benefactor at the very beginning donated a large sum and bought a John, Paul, George, and Ringo for the Beatles. So we have that is over in Helzberg Hall somewhere. But a lot of people have done teachers. If they have a musician or performer in their group, you can dedicate that. And they're not all done, so it's still, yeah, you can still purchase them.
We did like 4 years back.
Oh, 4 years back? Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, no, there are more empty ones than I thought there would be.
Yeah, we saw some, yeah.
So then as you look down, you'll see these gray things. They look like drains. People ask about that. They're actually vents, and it's part of the heating and cooling system. So the air here is actually heated and cooling in large cooling rooms that are below and back behind. So they heat and cool the air. It's a low velocity system that allows it to come up and gently it comes up here. So during a performance, you don't hear fans, you don't have air blowing on you. It keeps the temperature comfortable in a very quiet way. Another thing, these little screens in front are unique to his. This is part of the Figaro system, and this is designed to translate opera. So if you're here watching Italian, French, German opera, the English translation go right on those screens. But
right now it's not working.
I know. So that I was going to get to that. The company we purchased these from has gone out of business.
Oh boy.
And so we're looking for a fix for that. But the software that they used or whatever, so unfortunately now those are not working. But they were very cool here. Let's see. Any questions so far? Anything to add?
How many people you said can sit here? 1,800?
I said, yeah. But actually, yeah, 1,800. Yeah. That's a number I know, and I'm blanking. 1,513. 1,500. Sorry. And
so how is you mentioned how the orchestra pit work?
How the architect what?
The orchestra pits.
Oh, the orchestra pit.
Yeah, but how you say that it's modified? Or?
Yes, it's modified. So it's on like giant. I don't know, like a screw type of thing, and then they just roll it, they lower them down, and they pull them back. So you can do just 2 rows.
So they keep them back?
Yes, so it's down and underneath.
And then go ahead.
And then right now we've got them out. You can extend the stage out a little bit and move that if you need to. So this is maybe our Chiefs, and other people have said, oh yeah, red, blue, Chiefs, Royals. So they said that wasn't intentional, but that's how it is. And blue was Marion Labs blue. So this was Ewan Kaufman's favorite color, and when he owned Marion Labs, that was their color. Blue was everywhere, so they used the blue at Helzberg Hall, and red is the color of traditional opera houses. Is that correct? Or that's what that's what Muriel Kauffman and then Julie Irene Kauffman had put in here.
Very good.
Okay, you ready to head to the next one? All right.
We have the same blue in our UMKC logo, blue and yellow.
That's right. We'll go this way. Yeah, and I will ask too. I'll ask somebody, but on the website. Would it be easier to go the other way? Okay. All right. We'll go this way and you'll get to see another little part. And you can see here, covered in plaster, and so they can make it look pretty.
Go.
Excuse me, but there are two seat rows down at really at the front.
Oh.
Where the pit usually
Yeah, Do they have two, or do they now? There's restrooms on every level. There's restrooms here. Everything's ADA accessible and family friendly. There's family restrooms, men, women. Coming in here for a tour here. Sorry. Just have a seat in any of these rows here.
All right, there you have it.
You can go about halfway, or we're.
Sit next to you. Wow. That's a very different feel compared to
But it is continuous. Yeah, we do a lot in the summer. Kind of August is a slow month, so that's yeah, that makes sense. All right, let's see if I can just have the wood. There's some names on this here. As you come in, take a breath. You can kind of smell the wood. Yes. I've had kids say it's like being in Noah's Ark. All right. Moshe Softy said it was like being inside a cello. And essentially, this room is like an instrument that plays, that is accompanying the musicians playing here, because it is so important to the sound and the movement of the sound in this room. What word is this? I'll tell you in a minute. So, this is Helzberg Hall, and if you're from Kansas City, you're familiar with Helzberg. And another major donor in this, Shirley Helzberg, has been a huge benefactor of the arts here in Kansas City for a long time, and she was involved in this too. This actually, okay, so it's 1,500 and 1,300 seats. So although this space is larger, it feels bigger, there are actually fewer seats in here. It's actually a little bit smaller. This hall was designed for symphonic sound. So it's designed essentially for unamplified sound. So when the symphony is playing, they don't need any amplification at all. So the idea here is that the sound, they want to keep it moving in this space. And that for our ears, we don't want it to get trapped anywhere. You want it to be coming back to the audience. So how do they do that? You asked about the wood. There are 3 types of wood that are being used in this hall. The first is the walls and the slats. Everything you see here is Douglas fir. And Douglas fir is a common wood used in performing arts hall because the wood has a very fine microplaning in it, and there are thousands of little planes in it that help reflect the sound and keep that moving. So that's on the horizontal or the vertical sides here. The floor is a hard red oak, and it is designed to take the wear and tear of walking on it and also reflect the sound back up. The third wood is on the stage, and that is a soft Alaskan yellow cedar. And it helps the musicians play together. So when, let's say, the cellist puts their cello in the wood and the pick are in there, then the vibrations from that, they can all feel that. And that it helps them play better together. So the soft wood and the music, as they play, it goes up. We call this the canopy. This has been set in a specific height by Yasu Toyota to reflect the sound back down to them and out into the audience. We don't want it to get caught like up in the roof there. So that creates kind of a reverberation chamber then for the musicians and helps them play, again, better together, more in concert with each other. As you look straight ahead, the crown jewel here is the Julia Irene Kauffman Cassavant organ. This was Julia Irene Kauffman's personal gift to the Kauffman Center. It was built by the Cassavant brothers out of Quebec, Canada, and it was shipped here in more than 20 train cars it took to get all the pieces here. It's actually 4 stories tall. There are 5,548 pipes in there. The tallest ones are about half a ton and as tall as a telephone pole. We're seeing those, and by the way, they're also Douglas fir. And the smallest one is metal, and it's about the size of a pencil. And I was here one year where we gave a gift to Julia Irene Kauffman, and they gave her like a little trophy thing with one of the tiniest pipes on it there for her, as a thank you for her. Jan Craybill is a Kansas Cityan. She is the conservator of the organ, and she's not the only one that plays it, but she's our regular one. She comes in monthly to tune the organ. So up at the top of the organ, or where you see it there on the right, is a door. There's a little elevator that takes you up there. She comes out, and that's where you play. On the right, you can kind of see there's a screen there, like a TV screen or video screen. So what that does, when the conductor is playing, she sees that in the screen, and then that is how she plays along then with the symphony. And she just did a free Mother's Day concert here this year and last year on Mother's Day, and that is something to behold. Has anyone seen or heard the organ before? I mean, it just shakes you to your core. I mean, so that was Julia Irene's gift. She did not disclose how much that cost, so people ask me that a lot, but we don't know for sure. Again, the seats, same size. We're in blue here. You've got the armrests again. You've got the vents here. One thing that's very important in this space is the environmental controls. Everything like the humidity and the temperature has to be carefully calibrated here for the sound, the wood, and everything going on. On the stage, you can kind of see the outline of risers there. The risers come up. You can do 5 different levels, and a full orchestra would use all 5 levels there. On the walls, again, you can see the slats. Behind them are the same vertical bumps like we saw. You can see them better there. There is a mesh screen that goes between like old stereo speakers. Remember old stereo speakers? That they're also helping with the sound. And then on some performances, I don't know if you've anyone's been here during those. Sometimes if it is an amplified performance, you get too much reverberation in here. So we have a set of curtains that you can put up all along here and behind you. I think if you see those clips up above your head there, they will clip on there, and that helps absorb the sound. So sometimes if it's too loud, maybe a rock and roll or something really loud, they put those up that actually kind of dampen the sound or absorb it, and that was something added later. We didn't have that the first couple years, and later on when they realized that that type of sound was just too much for in here, they've added those since then.
So the quality of sound is the same no matter where you sit?
Yes, that's the design. And again, it's Yasu Toyota who was here doing this, and you know, he's done other famous concert halls. So again, even if you're up there, your sound is as good. Now, some sound directors have told me, or sound engineers have said, this is the best place to sit, right here. And this is called the parterre section. And parterre comes from a European term. The raised garden beds in European gardens are parterre. And so we're in the raised space here behind the orchestra. This is the parterre section. Is this where you sit? Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, they just said, now there's no bad seat. There's no bad seat here. Yes. Yes. So, and it depends on your preference, but they were just saying that the sound is the sweet spot here. We have a lot of people, well, we can't quite see, there's two little sections here that people like to sit into that they call the boat also there. I'm here, I do a lot with the Open Doors program where we bring in the youth of Kansas City here for field trips. A lot of times the symphony or other performers will do like a short 1 hour kind of matinee, and we do those. And this place will be full of kids, you know, 1,500 kids in here. And they love to sit up there and look over, and that gets everyone kind of nervous, or it did early on. But they love sitting up there. Also, another thing behind us, these seats here, this is called the choral loft. And surprisingly, well, it was designed so when we have the choral, you know, Kansas City Chorale or any chorus singing, that's where they sit. Well, they also turned out to be popular seats because a lot of former musicians like to sit there, or well, not former, a lot of musicians like to sit there because then they can experience a performance as a performer. So they can watch the conductor there. And so those seats are actually popular and sold at different times. So, let's see.
Is there any, sorry,
go ahead.
Is there any fixed scheduling of programs, or it is just random from year to year?
It's random, the scheduling of the programming, so that's up to each individual company. So the ballet decides theirs, the symphony decides theirs, and so they're the resident companies, and then they tell us. And then Harriman Jewel series, you know, a couple others, they figure out their programming, and they're kind of like, I don't want to say renting the space, but they're using the space here, and they set it themselves. Yes.
Do they rehearse in here?
Uh-huh. Yep. Sometimes, like today, luckily we get to be here. Sometimes you can't be in here. So I've had tours where I've had to show them a picture before, but we usually try to, you know, make sure in advance that it'll be open.
And those rows are the are available to the public also?
Are they what?
Available to the public?
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. And you can see here a little bit behind that the doors are open there to, you know, everything that goes backstage along there. Something out. But again, It's all designed with the latest technology, so anyone who comes in, we can accommodate what they need here.
For the theater people, can you tell us about the light?
Well, maybe you would like to tell us.
Well,
that is the ghost light there. Do you know anything about ghost lights?
Oh, it's just for safety reasons.
It's called ghost light.
Ghost light.
Ghost light, right, yes.
So that light all day and all night, yes. I think there's more. Do you know about it?
Well, just that there's some, it's more than just someone put a light there.
Right.
It has a tradition.
Yes.
Yes. And there's probably a superstition behind that too. You know, some people broke their ankles before, or something.
But the stage is always lit up.
But I used to think, okay, which one do I like better? Do I like Muriel Kauffman better? Do I like this one better? And it's kind of like your kids, you know, they're different. But so I went through a phase of liking the red one, or Muriel Kauffman first. Then I went through a phase of liking this one first, and then yes. And let's see, PNC Bank. I'm trying to see. I think John, Paul, George, and Ringo were up there. Any questions or anything else? The best way to, yes?
When there is a show or a musical program that's going to be performed, who decides which of the two auditoriums is best? Do they select or somebody from here?
No, they'll tell us. They'll tell us. Like the symphony is always in here, and operas are always over there. But they will tell us what they want. So after the resident companies have set their schedule, that's when we bring in then the other acts that come through. So like Yo-Yo Ma next week, you know, Yo-Yo Ma wants to be in here. Okay, so. Yes, yes, I think that was.
It's also quoted as saying, I felt like I was playing inside the instrument.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, we fill, then they fill in, but the performers tell us where they want to be. Yeah. So, and the best way to experience this is to come to a performance. You know, go to the website, or if you're a subscriber, or follow the symphony or ballet or any of those. You know, you can get more information. But hopefully you're all tech savvy and can get on the website, and there's different ticket prices.